Good morning, everybody. It's Lila'Angelique. Can you see what this says? It says magical motherfucker. I love this necklace. I'm probably one of the only people who has it. I'm going to turn on these. Hello, everybody. Bunny, will you come over and visit, please? Hello, everybody. We're going to talk about our experience in Bangkok, and we had quite a journey around the city yesterday that I can't say was like the most wonderful experience we've ever had, but it was eventful, and it showed me why I don't really like cities anymore, and kind of reconfirmed the joy that I'm feeling of that we're moving to Bali. Bali is such a quiet place in the world in comparison to most everywhere else, even though Bali has become really busy and really chaotic. I'm going to move this a little bit. Whee! Hello! Let's see if we can get Thoth in there. I'm just moving the thing around because it's noisy.
It's really funny what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right?
So it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock Bangkok time, and this is the time I'm gonna try to do these consistently every day and just talk about whatever it is that's going on. Thank you all who've been joining so far. It really means a lot to me. I think I've been holding back on sharing on social media. Hello. Because I've been like, oh no, it's too much, or people won't be interested, or what? Nobody cares.
Are they interested?
Are you interested in us? I mean, because a lot of the times I wonder if people are actually interested in our lives, because things are so, life is just, social media is just all over the place, and I tend to wonder if anybody really cares about these two little artists that exist floating around the world. Anyway, our experience in Bangkok has been interesting, and the other night I didn't get any sleep at all. This bed is like sleeping on a rock, so it's been a challenge to be able to just sleep properly, and that's a major challenge with, if you want to sit on your chair, you can sit on your chair if you want. You can do it like this. Let's see. It's challenging. He's having his morning tea. So, yeah, it's hard. That's a really challenging thing about coming to a new place, even just for a couple of nights, is the transition to a new area and a new place is always challenging. It always takes like a night or two to be able to sleep properly, to be able to find comfort and safety. And Thoth and I are major homebodies. We're not partiers. We don't go out and drink or any. One could say we're kind of boring, and that I like to say that sometimes that we're really boring, and we're very boring, and that we just like to stay home and draw. And yeah, me too. Thank you for being interested. It really helps. The ones who stick around for the whole live stream get a prize. I really appreciate that you stay and watch and pay attention. It encourages me. So, yes, it was very hard. I was already sleep deprived. I tend to not be able to sleep well because of my anxiety. I only recently realized that I have major anxiety, and I can get very anxious about everything, anything. My mind will come up with any number of reasons why I should be scared or I should be nervous about something. And I'm only just starting to recognize that and start to work on it. So I didn't sleep very well the night before we arrived here, and then I didn't sleep the night before, so I was really sleep deprived. And we were walking around, and the city is just chaos. It's just a crazy place, and I'm finding that I don't really like chaos. I'm not really into a chaotic environment, as I can't really imagine anyone would be. But the truth is, for a long time, we lived in cities like this. We lived in New York City, San Francisco, even San Diego, even Lisbon, because those are the places we could make a living. And when we were in a car yesterday driving through the city, we had to drive basically across the entire city to get home in traffic, which was not fun, as one might imagine. And it was just really an icky experience to just watch all these fucking people just having to, they're here because they have to survive. They're making money, they're surviving, and what a blessing that we don't have to do that anymore. I can think that that's the reason why most people live in big cities, is because they have to live, they have to make a living. And there's a lot of begging here. There's a lot of strip teases and prostitution also, which we've not seen in months. And it seems like begging happens in big cities also, which is disturbing. So it's just the city vibe is not our thing anymore, which for me is a great confirmation as to why we're not going to live in anywhere besides Bali anymore. And the interesting experience that I had yesterday is while we were walking around the city, we at one point we got stuck in a mall. But I wanted Thoth to share his experience of the modern world and how it feels for him. So, Penny, will you come over and talk about this for me? Do you want to sit there? Go keep going. Just tell everyone how your
Do I have to be talking?
Yeah. I really want to hear what you experienced. Hello. I really want to hear what you experienced with being kind of walking around this mall yesterday and the whole modern world and how it feels to you. Please.
I mean, we both walked around the mall.
Yeah, I know. But
We kind of got lost in a mall. There was a little stage in the middle of the mall and a somewhat resonant dome. And when I get into a resonant dome, I want to sing. And so my first impulse was to sing full voice in it, and that would have caused all the police to come running. And so I didn't, which is unusual for me, but I still didn't. And that restraint hurts me and hurts my feelings and makes me feel sad.
that restraint hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
Isn't Thoth an interesting being? Is that he just wants to sing everywhere? He just wants to play music everywhere? It's such an interesting experience.
So from that point on, we started looking. Oh, and there's Dominic.
I told you my friend who has 35,000 followers about you, and she said she would check you guys out, and she abandoned you. That's right. That's why I don't like social media. She thinks she's hot shit. Yeah, I know. So that's,
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's. I remember you told me that somebody was you shared our stuff with someone that was an influencer or something, and then
Is that what that is?
Hello, thank you for joining.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, it's.
Anyway, the stage was dedicated to celebrating the Chinese New Year, and it's excellent to see the different New Years around Asia.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we were there because the sweetie was looking for a smoothie bowl place that she was, I guess, on Google something.
Google Maps said it was in there somewhere.
So we started to look for it. While looking for it, we got distracted by a lot of things, and some of those things were very disturbing. One of the things that still stays with me and is really the most disturbing is to look around at the various corporate stores and to see their logos or their slogans. And they use sometimes a Shakespearean quote or a just some wise quote, and they plug it into their product so that they can like creativity, self, truth, and
or
that
just
is,
do it or something like that. You know,
just do it. They apply that to their shoe or to their sweatshirt.
Their sportswear.
Or their enema. And they're hoping that you will buy their product and then hold on to this phrase. And unfortunately, what happens to the phrase is the phrase then becomes cliche, and it loses its meaning because it's been applied to a greedy acquisition of money and material. And I have been watching over my years now phrases that at one time were so pertinent and so powerful disappear into this cliche realm of sales. And it really came forward strongly yesterday at the mall because there were so many phrases everywhere. I was looking, there was a phrase, and they were really beautiful phrases at one time. Mm-hmm. So that started to really hurt my mind and my heart. That's a good beginning.
Yeah, and it's so. I think it's really interesting to. Good morning. Thank you for joining. The thing I find really interesting about sharing daily about our experiences is that Thoth and I experience things so differently from most anyone else. People go into a mall and they go shopping and they buy food and they buy a bunch of shit and then they leave and they don't feel disturbed. They don't feel concerned. They don't feel sad. They don't get their feelings hurt. You know.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I'm #1 fan and I love you guys. I'm seeing that coming onto all of our live streams. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Can you remind me how you discovered us? Please, I'd love to hear. I'd love hearing how people have discovered us.
Comfort.
Yeah, I've been seeing her profile for a long time. Their profile. So yeah, it's going to this mall yesterday was just an accident. We're not going like, let's go to the mall and go walk around the mall. No, it's like I just wanted to find something to eat, and it seemed like there was a place there with food, and it's ended up being this wild goose chase, just running around for hours trying to find this place. And in the meantime...
Just 2 hours exactly.
Yeah, and it made me feel really sad. Thought the best, you also... Yes, thank you so much. Yes, sweetie.
It's very sweet.
Thank you so much. Yes, if you'd like to share how you discovered us, I'd love to hear. Yeah, so it was extremely disturbing, and also on the way out we saw this McDonald's character, the Ronald McDonald thing. If you watch the blog that I'm posting today, you'll see it. It's like the Ronald McDonald's character, like this, standing
outside
like this.
The McDonald's restaurant.
Outside of
with a namaste.
Standing like this.
It was so disturbing.
So disturbing. It was so disgusting. It just made us both like vomit at our mouths and go, what does this mean? What is going on with the world that corporations and these caricatures of images that are famous images? I discovered you when you came to San Diego years and years ago. Yeah, in Balboa Park. That's nice. That's a long time ago. Thank you for sharing. What's funny is that when I was a kid, I used to go to the mall. When I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, that's what you did for fun. You would walk around the fucking mall because there's nothing else to do. And as a teenager, that's what you did, walk around the mall. And now that I'm older, going into a mall accidentally and being who we are and doing the thing that we do and being in a mall and going like, we can't sing, we can't perform. If we got performed, then security would come and take us away. And the weird thing is that there was a thing going on. There was a performance happening. I remember Thoth's long hair. He was very muscular. Yeah, wow. Thoth didn't have long hair then. He didn't have long hair in San Diego. He didn't have dreadlocks. You're probably mixing up two memories.
They're two different people.
No, it's the same person.
See? Sorry.
Oh, wow. So you know him from that long ago.
Yeah.
Oh my
Park.
God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
New York.
Okay. Long time ago. Okay. Is this 20 years ago? 30 years ago? 20 years ago? 25 years ago? How long ago? That's a long time fan. Oh my God. It's the amazing thing about Instagram is people are coming on and saying, I've known you guys for a long, so yeah, it's really trippy to be in a city again and have this experience together. Wow. Bought his CD. Back when
I
CDs
remember that
existed.
story now.
Yeah. Wow. How did you find us on Instagram? That's crazy. I mean, I know a lot of people found us through, I don't know how people found us through Thoth, Tribal Baroque and all that stuff. It's I don't know how people have found us online, to be honest. Yeah, so city life is not for us. It's not our thing. And what's interesting, say something?
Well, there are various interactions we had. One of the places that we ended up was a somewhat supermarket food store, and it had everything. It was so much stuff and so much food and so much. It was very, very, very oversaturated and overwhelming. At the same time, I was able to get ginger tea, which I haven't been able to find. So there's a dichotomy there, because you have this store that has everything and it has the thing you want, and at the same time it's giving you so much and making you feel as if you yearn for so much. And what in actuality you want to be you want ginger tea, and instead you get every type of chip,
Every
squid
type of
chips,
cookie, every type
octopus
of
chips,
dessert, every type of anything. And I got this horrible piece of cake that looked really pretty. It was like blueberry, cream cheese, frosting, and all this shit. And then it ended up being just this piece of shit. It was It tasted horrible. I couldn't even eat it.
It meant it was average.
Yeah, it was average. It was really average.
It had an elegant shape to it that caused you to buy it.
Yeah, and when I was in that space where I was buying this cake, I was saying to Thoth, do you want something? And he said, no, I'm completely overwhelmed. I can't do it. And what's so funny about our life now is that both of us, we just don't want to buy things. We're not, like in regards to clothing, I like to just rip up old clothes that I have, or buy like really cheap little things that don't cost anything, and then rip them up and paint them and shit. And Thoth's the same. He has like all these little jewels and shit. These are all from my mother's house, San Francisco, San Diego, things people gave him, And we've always been this way.
I'm sort of a jeweler. I like to take little beads and put them together. This came from Wim in San Diego and in Puerto Vallarta, and it's one of my favorite things. Beautiful jewel on a wonderfully rugged silver bracing, and on basically a hemp string.
Yeah.
And it hangs so beautifully, and it has very wonderful energy for me, holding the heart center very powerfully so that it emanates as I walk down the street and dance.
So someone said, I know this is a question people have, and I see your question, how do you guys make money and it's enough to survive? So the answer to that is that we have a patron. if you guys know what the word patron means, patron of the arts, who is basically sponsoring us. And if anyone knows about music history and all of that, in the past, that's how artists survived. They had patrons. They had wealthy patrons who sponsored them. They wrote music for them. They performed for them and wrote operas for them. And
Tchaikovsky's patron is one of the most famous.
One of the most famous patrons. If you look it up, Tchaikovsky and what was the name of?
Anonymous.
Yeah, it was an anonymous patron, and yeah. And there was like
she remained anonymous, and she adored Tchaikovsky's music.
And was probably in love with him, but he was gay and all of that. So that's how. And we spent 15 years busking for a living. That was how we survived.
We make money playing
and
too.
We
perform.
Yeah, we still do occasionally.
When I'm not being arrested for it.
Yeah, but it's yeah, and so we're really secure in that way. And it's also whenever we enter, like for example, when we entered the border in Bali a few months ago, they basically pulled us aside because we're little weirdos, and they, tore apart our bags very nicely. But
they tested us. I didn't know that. They were testing.
They were testing everything, from drugs and shit.
All the drugs.
Yeah, because Thoth has a bag of salt that he uses that we have used for nasal cleanses.
For vocal.
Yeah,
anybody understands that.
Yeah, nasal cleanse is like a life-saving thing. Hello, thank you for joining. Hello, thank you for joining. They took out this bag and were like, "What is this? This bag of white stuff?" When we were entering Bali, we're like, "It's salt." It didn't have any like label on it, and of course they were looking for drugs, of course, and
thought it was cocaine.
Thought it was cocaine or something, and of course it's not. It's just salt, and we of course looked so strange that, yeah. But they were really nice about it, and we have nothing to hide, so we're.
It's Isma.
Yeah. Thank you.
We became very, very friendly.
Yeah, we became
with them
very friendly with the immigration border guards. Yeah, because we're just like little kids. We have nothing to hide.
Laughing and.
Our sponsor, how could we say it?
What?
How did we find our sponsor?
Found us.
They found us. Yeah, they found us. You could say, and yeah, it's a blessing because we've been spending a long time busking and street performing to survive, and that's why we spent 15 years in the United States and Europe and New York and San Francisco and all these very expensive cities, because those were the places we could actually make money and street perform without getting, well, we always got stopped. We always got stopped by police because busking has never been like a legal thing. Like, it's always something we do and we just get away with. We got away with it. And
what's my last time being stopped? Because
when we were at the that art gallery and yeah. It happens all the time. We would get stopped all the time. Yeah, so it just basically just dropped out of the sky, and then we can just live. We don't have to think about. Yeah, we should become clothing designers. Yeah, that's something about moving to Bali that I do want to do. Is when we were in San Francisco for 2 years, I got a sewing machine from a friend, and I made a bunch of clothes. And I still have a couple of little skirts and things that I brought with me. But that's something about living in one place that I can't do it if we're traveling around. But I'd love to bedazzle these things and add a bunch of shit and maybe print off samples of my paintings into fabric and then use the fabric to make clothes and stuff. Something I've always wanted to do, but because we move around, our bags are full of shit, and you can only carry 50 pounds of stuff. We left a lot of shit behind in San Francisco when we left, which all that stuff, I don't know if we'll ever get it back. But yeah, that's one part of living in one area of the world that I want to do. I want to get a sewing machine again and start to, I will, I promise. I'll show art. And when we get back We're getting back tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Does having a sponsor come with a bunch of rules and regulations? That would be my fear. Suddenly you have a boss dictating what I can and no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. The person passed away, and left the money to us. There were no rules, and no, it's amazing. No stipulations or rules involved, and they passed away and left this to us. So it's not a thing of that we have to do anything in exchange for it, and we didn't have to. It just, they passed away, and there it was, and a miracle, a complete miracle, and something I've been dreaming of for a very long time, and it happened, and so it shows you anything can happen. But that's the reason why we're in Southeast Asia, and we're in these less expensive countries, because the irony about living in these cheaper parts of the world is you kind of have to have money in order to get there and set up and be secure. It's more that this person passed away, and so it was a certain amount that was given, and then no, I didn't. No, not at all. It was just like surprise. I have a financial advisor as well, so it's all invested and safe, and I'm not having to like what do I do with
You're
it?
actually quite good at handling.
I'm very good at handling money, by the way. I always have been, and it's not endless. It's not an endless.
Performing in the street,
Yeah.
budgeting and busking is very, very important.
Yeah, it is. It's money management has been something I've learned to manage over my life. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, it's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind talking about it. Thank you. It is something that's it's something that I've spoken about a few times on the YouTube channel about because it's obvious something happened, because we are able to travel in a way we never have been before, and like what I was saying about to be in less expensive areas of the world, you have to have the funding to be able to get to these places and have a place to live, and that's why we never went to Southeast Asia or Mexico or any of these places before, because you really can't busk in these areas of the world. Busking in Southeast Asia is illegal, so we do little things for, like when we were in Bali, we would just do things for fun. We would just play for our own joy and play and do little open mics and stuff just for our own joy, because we don't need the money.
We have our little shows,
and we have our little performances that we do, and so it's just an incredible blessing, and it's completely changed our lives and made it possible for us to just focus on our creativity. And money has never been the thing that we've focused on, to be honest. Money has never been, I've always been conscious of money, and over the years that when we made our own money from busking, I would start to count it and put it away, and we'd use a certain amount for eating and housing, and then we'd put a certain amount away. Yes, we're married. We've been married for 10 years, I think. Thoth's mother is dead. My mother is dead as well. Both of our mothers passed away within a year of each other, which is weird, because we're 33 years apart in age. So yeah, it's an interesting dichotomy, and that's another thing about our life is that thank you, is that just because you have money and just because no children, nope, never, never. I'm too selfish. We're too selfish. I'm too selfish to have children. I'm not interested in having little screaming babies running around and pooping all over me. I don't really understand why anybody has children, to be honest. I never have had interest. I want to get a puppy. That's something I do want to get. I'm fantasizing. There is a Pomeranian puppy in Bali, little white, fluffy Pomeranian puppy that's going to be about 3 months old by the time we get back there at the end of February, that I'm wanting to buy and have. But Pomeranians can yip and bark and stuff, and if I got a puppy, that would mean that we would be in Bali. But it seems like we're going to be really living there. Because the interesting thing about what happened yesterday with all of the chaos of being in the city and stuff, I know it would be a little baby Thoth, it would be the prettiest baby you could possibly imagine. We were talking about it just yesterday, that it would be, kind of a creamy skinned baby with blonde hair and blue eyes, or like a creamy baby with white dreads or blonde dreads and blue eyes. Wouldn't that be amazing? It would be such a beautiful child, I know, but I can't. I need to have my time to be creative, and I need my sleep. I can't. It's really shocking to me that if Thoth had any children, he would have my children. If I had any children, I would have his children. That makes me feel like I'm an old lady, I still feel like I'm 10 years old, 15 years old. I feel like I kind of stopped growing when I was 16. So, do you want to have children? Have you ever thought about that?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No children.
I think about it as a... Children. At this time, I'm so focused on a different aspect of life. Children are. I'm more thinking of children as I wonder what it would have been.
I'll answer your question in a second. Go ahead. Sorry, the question is, with the age gap, doesn't it worry you not having someone left behind in Thoth's place? Yes. Well, it says, talk to us, Thoth. So talk.
The mall thing was really difficult because the sweetie was really stressing out because she really wanted to she was hungry, and so she was finding this thing. And I'm a major observer. I don't have a phone, so I really see a lot. And so again, I speak of a place that is at the highest level of modern expression at the moment. This mall, the use of phrases, ancient phrases to sell products, the way it pushes people around from place to place so they'll buy something. It's the pressure that it puts on you as a being to buy. And I don't have a need to buy. I don't really have any money. I am a being free in my expression. My joy is just to sing and play. That's what I want to do there. I want to run around the place and sing and play and sing to everybody and just give my heart. And it blocks that. It completely blocks that. It causes people to feel less creative. They buy instead of create, so it feels like a suppressive experience. And I felt upon in handling her, the sweetie's anxiety about eating and my own observations that I got very sad.
Yeah.
Extremely sad. I was because I'm feeling people's oppression. And this is one of my gifts, is to feel people suffer. Probably because I awoke so early in life.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I'm going, this is our big world, here it is.
Yeah.
So I have to accept it too. I have to accept that everybody who's walking by me is holding a phone in their hand, and that everybody is only one-handed now. That they have a phone in one hand, and they're working only with in many cases, their right hand. And I have both hands, and I'm like, wee, look at me. But so it's funny.
Yes, it is funny. Let's see. But this question is very interesting. With the age gap, doesn't it worry you not having someone left behind? Yes, it's something that,
We
yes,
talk about
we
it.
talk about it all the time. And it's something that in the first 10, 15 years of our life together, being buskers and not having any financial security was something that terrified me and terrified Thoth, and really created a lot of pain and stress and suffering.
Right, Dominic?
Yeah, it's just something that really scared the shit out of us, and we would wake up in like cold sweats because
And I'm worried. I get worried about her more.
Yeah.
My worry about her because
and I worry about him. It's like we worry about each other so much all the time, about everything. It's really hard not to worry about each other.
this to have support in a certain type of way released that from me and even freed me up even more to express even more, to be even more loving as a being in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've spent a very long time getting. I mean, I even remember in San Francisco right before this financial thing happened suddenly, that I remember running down the street in the park, in Golden Gate Park, just thinking it was a cold, kind of icky day, and I just remembered being so afraid, just thinking about Thoth's going to die, I'm going to be all alone, what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to go out and play in Golden Gate Park by myself in the cold, dark tunnel by myself, crying, missing him, not being able to function, and not having enough money to take care of myself. What am I going to do? Or he's going to die, in my arms and be like, I don't know, I'm scared for you, I don't know if you're going to survive, and I'd be like, I don't know, I'm probably going to die. Because the idea of Thoth dying is just not... I want him to die in the most optimal situation where he's safe and he's surrounded by people he loves. And that's another reason, that's probably a big reason why I'm sharing so much online, is that I really want to build a community of people who are there when Thoth is gone. Because I really need, Thoth is the person I've been spending my whole life with, basically, half of my life. And when he's gone, I'm going to really need support. And I will be sharing, very honestly, when he dies. I will probably share the video of him dying, him having his ecstatic death experience while singing. And I'm going to need support. And I'm probably going to be coming on here crying and being very emotional and sharing everything that I'm going through. And I really am going to need that support. And that could happen tomorrow or next month or next year. Hopefully it happens in the next 15 years. Because look at him.
Well,
He's so
I'm
strong.
not interested in withering away. I'm going to go in full blast.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before because it's very important to me. I have a different understanding of death and a different feeling towards it. But I don't know what I'm doing on this.
Just wait 1 second.
Anyway, one of the things that's also said to me recently at the mall was the thing I most want, the thing I yearn for, is to have a space that I can pray for him in, and because I haven't had this for a while, to pray for him in at sunset, give my all at that moment, and I feel that now at my age I've attained a certain amount of skill in what I do, and there is no invitation, there is no place to do this. There is just constant chasing away. There's constant police calls. There's constant harassment in the midst of expression, and that is really hard for me. And that came up at the mall because the mall had a stage, and as I said, I wanted to be on that. I wanted to get on that stage and just sing up into the dome that covers this mall, because I knew that this sound was pretty good. We would have held a beautiful tone. And knowing that if I did that, the police would come from every direction. They were all over the place. They were there anyway. I smiled at quite a few of them.
It's nice to smile at security and police and stuff. Thank you, Dominic, for saying that. If you're still there, I appreciate that. I will be okay. I will be okay. And I'm coming into my power these days of that I am my own individual within this dynamic that we are together, and that I have something to say, and I'm a strong-willed woman, and I will be able to live, and especially because I have the financial security, I will be able to live, and I'm very good at managing my finances, because it's not like I was just given endless amounts of money. I still have to be conscious of what I'm spending, and I still have to be be aware of it and keep track of it, and that's important. And something about that is, like, basically you could say all of my dreams have come true, but life is still hard, and I still have bad days and good days, and I get really sick, and I throw up, and I am sad, and I cry, and I have depressions and all of these things, and so does Thoth, and I have to take care of Thoth while he's going through these horrible seizure experiences, and it's scary and lonely, but I'm really excited about going to Bali, because one of the things that happened yesterday while we were going through the city and having all these experiences was the fellow who we lived with in Bali. His name is Kadik. He has a compound that was given to him by his family. You know how that happens in Bali, and
The king.
yeah, basically the king gave away all of this, all the Balinese, all the land, and gave it to all the people, and so now they just have these compounds, and they have guests in their, they have compounds in Bali are basically like several different houses, small houses on a plot of land, and we had one of those little houses. It was like a 2-bedroom, 2-story thing, and he's been in contact with me the last couple of days, and has been since we left, asking me, "Are you okay?" Or suggesting ways I can help with my illnesses and stuff, and just checking in on me, which has just been incredibly kind and makes me feel very homey and cozy. And because I love Kadik, he was an amazing host for us, and very generous and kind, and made beautiful food for us, and whatever. So he's offered us a place to live on his compound. He has a 2-bedroom place right in the middle of Ubud, that he said we can offer whatever price we want to stay there long term, which is really, really, really special and feels good, and we're probably going to do that. And we already have a place for the first 6 months, and we have our 6-month visas to get going, and we have our flights and our everything to get back, and that's a blessing. It's something I never was able to do, is like just make plans and spend money on things that we need. I don't have to wait for somebody to give me permission. I can just do the things that we need to do. So that was happening at the same time that this weird stuff was going on, walking through the city and having this weird experiences, that Kadik was in touch with me and saying, if you'd like to, he was also mentioning that he has land. He owns the land behind his complex, and he wants to build on it. And saying that, he's looking for a business partner, and that's very flattering that when somebody considers me to be a business partner. So that it's very flattering and very kind, and we're going to have a home in Bali that's going to be very affordable, and have a very affordable long-term life there. We can get, after our 6-month visas, we can get retirement visas through Thoth. I have enough to prove the amount of money you have to get the visa, and so we can do the things we want to do. And I want to live in Bali, and I think we're probably going to live there, and we may never leave. We may go on little trips from there to other parts of Southeast Asia. Sorry, I haven't read the rest of these comments. I remember the first time I'd heard Thoth performing in Central Park. I started dancing to the music. It was a fun day for me. Let's see. Thank you. Oh,
the overfunage is...
Yeah, overfunage is
strange.
Just...
I don't know how to react to it, because I can see that everybody's in contact with each other. They see maps, they're able to get around. Yeah, but I chose not to go into the phones after COVID, because COVID is what caused the phone thing to blow up. because everybody was stuck at home. And I had a dream that there was some kind of, and before I knew that this would happen, there was I had a dream that, a dream about a tactic somebody would use to hold everybody's attention, and I thought and when the phones started happening, I wondered if it might be phones. So I don't have access to those things. I don't have that entertainment. I have surrendered to my ignorance. But I do have a heart full of music, and a soul and heart full of music. Yeah. So that makes up for it.
Yeah. Yes, Dominic. We're going to apply for his Social Security next month, actually, for his 70th birthday. We've delayed applying for it until his 70th birthday because he did work for 10 years. So that will be another nice little amount that will be something, which will help with maybe flights or housing and paying for that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's going to get Social Security too, which is interesting. The whole thing is really interesting. It's like we spent so long just worrying about money and being afraid and being scared and being fucked up and being homeless and being broke and being just having being in a really scary position in regards to money and not knowing how we were going to survive after. And I never thought about it for a long time. It's just like, how are we going to keep doing this? And did someone ask, do you keep in touch with your siblings?
I wish them happy birthday. My sisters and I write to each other on occasion. They have a similarity to me in being mixed. We all three have experienced much from this world that has caused us to have developed some very strong emotional and compassionate centers. Both of them have been, my one sister's a nurse and has been a midwife, birthing. She's called Mama to many. The other has been a teacher, teaching, helping. And so yes.
And I was just in touch with my twin sister this morning. I have a strange relationship with my twin, to be honest. She's still in Nashville, where we grew up, and it's interesting to see how our lives have split off and become so different. We used to be just like so close, as close as Thoth and I have been, and but I grew out of it and grew to be with my husband, which as it should be. Relationships grow and change, and my sister's changed a lot over the last couple of years, and she's not an artist. She was an actor for a long time, and she was quite a good actor, and she was pursuing being an actor, and she still wants to be an actor, but sadly she's gained a lot of weight over the last couple of years and has become quite lazy and unmotivated, and she has mental illnesses she's inherited from my mother. It takes a lot of medication and stuff, so it's been really hard to deal with that over the last long period of time. And she's still very attached to me in a way that I'm not attached to her anymore, because I have a husband and a life, and so it's a pain in my life that I have to deal with every day, pretty much. And but she's as supportive as she can be. It's taken her a long time. My father is supportive, actually, and it's taken him a long time to fully accept my life, and thank you, and accept Thoth. But he does now. We actually went to visit my father several months ago, back in May. We flew from Cancun to Florida to visit him and his wife, who was the woman he cheated on my mother with, which is interesting. They're still together. Very weird. So that's good. It's nice to have a father that I feel like I can talk to, and I've been able to have good conversations with him in the last couple of years and just be honest with him about stuff that is important to me, and work through some stuff together. And unfortunately, my sister and I are not able to speak very honestly about anything because she gets hurt too easily, and it's very painful. So I kind of have to have a very surfacey relationship with her. So it's strange how life changes over time, and things change. Hello, thank you for joining. Hello. I know, she was, the last time you saw her, Dominic, was years ago, 5-6 years ago. She's not like that anymore. She's changed. She's changed. You wouldn't recognize her anymore. She was bubbly back then. Even 2019, she was very bubbly. But she lived with my father for a long time, and my father has a tendency to be very controlling, and she was in the house while my mother was dying in the last couple of years, so it really affected her very negatively. Thankfully, I've not had to be around my family. My sister's just been around my family too much, and you know how that can just be really toxic and icky. So for me, I got away very young. I got away when I was 19, 20, and pursued my dreams and did everything that my family thought that would not succeed and not be successful. And I have all the skills that I need to maintain the lifestyle that we enjoy. And what's interesting is that we're going to be living somewhere. We're going to be living in one place pretty soon, and we've never done that before. We got stuck in San Francisco during the pandemic. That's when I started the Instagram pages. People started to pay attention to us and enjoy our music in the park, and but we were stuck. It was not a choice. We hadn't made an active choice to say we want to live in San Francisco and we want to live with certain people and stuff. Thank you. And so we're finally. My mother was an artist, yes. My mother was a singer. I was talking about her yesterday or the day before. She was an amazing vocalist. And when I had to go home in the last couple of years and clear out her entire house from top to bottom, I got to see a lot of pictures and videos and audio clips of my mother singing and performing, and it was incredible. She had an amazing voice. I did know that, she was a lovely vocalist, and she actually did some Broadway stuff, and she was in a couple of Disney films. Actually, she was in the chorus of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Pocahontas and Beauty and the Beast. Actually, she played one of the three ditzy blondes she was one of the voices of the three ditzy blondes in Beauty and the Beast. That's an interesting thing. So she was like almost famous, kind of. And my father too. My father was a rock guitarist, which is funny. And we grew up in a recording studio when I was a kid. Had orchestras in the living room and shit. Kira, wow, I haven't spoken to Kira in a while. Kira is now living in San Francisco in the house that we stayed in. How do you know Kira? That's interesting. Kira is a lovely friend of ours who danced with us a lot in San Francisco during the pandemic when we played in Golden Gate Park. She's living in the same house that we were staying in all through the pandemic. I'm glad she's safe and she has somewhere, but it's challenging for her. Yeah, it's a long story. Yeah, so it's just crazy whenever I talk on here, it's just amazing to realize how much our lives have changed. Yeah, it's a long, painful story. So, yeah, our lives have changed, and it's very hard, but I'm very grateful to all of you who have stayed and listened, and we're almost at an hour. Bunny, do you have anything else to say? Mm-hmm. No? But thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it so much. I'm going to be live tomorrow at the same time, and headed back to Chiang Mai tomorrow night our flight's at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, and then we get in around 10. So this has been quite an experience, just coming into a place. And I'm not sick anymore, for God's sake. And I'm so glad I didn't get sick for the flight. Flying makes me sick. I get sick. Good night. Thank you all for listening. Thank you so much for the support. It really means a lot to me. I'm going to do this consistently. And I really appreciate all the questions. Thank you so much for the questions. No, we won't be coming back to Golden Gate Park or to New York City or Bethesda Terrace or any of these places probably ever again. Our lives have changed. It's too expensive there and too complicated. We have home and we have friends and we have community out here, and it's a blessing beyond anything. And I'm so grateful. Anyway, say goodbye, Thoth.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all for listening. Thank you. See you tomorrow.